Okay, so what's your name?
Name is John DuMars, and I am a member of the National Archery in the Schools program. I've been working with them since for about 8 years, and I've been a certified instructor trainer, so I set up the programs in the schools, as well as on the side, my side business, which has turned into a full-time business, is teaching kids how to shoot bow and arrow.
Awesome.
And every year I average 3,000 to 4,000 kids through my archery programs. I carry about 25 bows with me, plus all the targets you see in the background. And the nets. The nets are Kevlar nets. You can set them up in a gymnasium in front of windows and not worry about it. I sometimes park my truck behind the net, and we shoot all day, and I haven't had an arrow through my truck yet. So it's just a matter of having fun and teaching the kids how to have fun safely. The National Archery in the Schools program has a safety record that's unparalleled. There's been over 5 million kids through the program, 0 injuries, and that's the way we want to keep it. It's a good program, and we use the same equipment here as they do in the National Archery in the Schools program. We also have a companion program with the National Archery in the Schools program. It's called Center Shot. It uses all the same archery equipment and safety practices, but there's an 8-week Bible study that goes along with it. And the purpose of the Bible study is to bring kids to know the Lord.
And that's called Center Shot?
Center Shot program.
Do you have a website?
There is a website. I think it's centershot.org.
Okay.
The head of the Center Shot program is John Rickenbach, and he's out of Minneapolis.
Okay.
And but this Center Shot program is excellent. They use the archery for a draw to draw the kids into the church, campground, Christian school, whoever wants to use the program. And then they have the Bible study captive audience. The kids want to shoot, so they're going to show up.
Yeah.
And it works. It's a beautiful program and a great system. So that's along with the National Archery in the Schools program.
Okay.
The guy that started that program a number of years ago, 2003 I think it was, his son is the one that started Center Shot. Okay. Last year, to show you how it's growing, within 1 year the national tournament in Kentucky went from 7,000 to over 10,000 kids from all over the United States competing in archery in one place at one time. And that's a madhouse, but it's a blast. Okay, so, and the beauty of the archery is that you don't have to be strong, you don't have to be fast, you don't have to be tall, you don't have to know how to walk. Many kids in wheelchairs are doing extremely well. The only difference is practice. And it makes an equalizer out of the little kids compared to the big kids. The girls compete with the boys. Everybody's equal when they step up to the line. They're all using the same bow, the same arrows at the same targets. So it makes an equalizer out of it. The only difference is practice.
Tell me about what you told me about with the Native Americans, and you make the hatchets, so tell me
I make tomahawks in my garage. I'm a frustrated forger or whatever, and metal worker, but I was a welder for many years, so I make the tomahawks, teach kids how to throw them. You can see they're being used down here quite readily. And up in the northern Wisconsin, up in the Hayward area, got in with a group that is training the Native Americans and teaching them how to throw tomahawks and shoot bows and arrows, which sounds a little different, but it's completely out of their culture. And we're trying to get them back to their culture, give them something to do other than dodging their drugs and alcohol, which is more prevalent than anything else on the reservation. So
tell me about the pastor that's there, or his name.
Pardon?
There's a pastor there that you were working through.
Yeah, the Pastor Marvin. From the Assembly of God Church in Hayward.
Okay.
And he's very familiar with the program. He was at the initial meetings. He's a certified NASP instructor. They've been traveling all over. In fact, a team from there went to the only Native American Christian college in the United States, and that's 50 miles south of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And now they're taking on the archery program to teach each one of their students that come from tribes all over the United United States, and he's even got one of my tomahawks hanging on his wall. You know, so this is what we do. We're trying to spread this enthusiasm for the archery, the tomahawks, and the Word of God, all at the same time.
John, you were telling me about an event where there was over 400 people baptized. Would you tell me a little about that?
This is an event that was put on by Kicking Bear, and this was held down in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and there were mostly inner city kids. There was only over 1,400 kids on a Friday night and Saturday, mostly from inner city, and they've never been exposed to anything like this before, including the gospel summit. You know, so the final result was, and the result that we look for, is that over 440 of them were saved, and there was 6 churches involved in helping with the ministry, and the follow-up was fantastic. So every church benefited, but more importantly, the kids benefited.
That's awesome. And there's going to be a couple baptisms at this.
We're planning this for the first time in this area. We've got a little pond up behind the rifle range, and we've made a ramp down to it. We've made it convenient, and there's 3 kids that have expressed a desire to get baptized, and so this is a first for us here. But they're doing that on a regular basis in Texas now, in all of the Kicking Bear events. They have a baptismal service because they can take them from making a decision for the Lord, baptizing and confirming it all in one weekend. And this just gives an extra shot for them to stick with it.
I've interviewed Tristan a couple of times, and he's also on our website. And I understand there's a connection between you and him. Tell me about that.
There is. The first Kicking Bear event that I went on, I volunteered. I was a retired plumber, and I had just retired, and looking for things to do with kids. And there was a volunteer needed for an elk hunting trip to Colorado from Wisconsin, and so I volunteered, and I was paired up with Tristan and one other boy in a room in a little cabin, colder than blazes. We had a ball. Tristan shot an elk, and it was an exciting time for all of us, and as evidenced by you talking to Tristan, he's not afraid to share his experiences, and we had a good time. We became very good friends, and Tristan's here helping today, so it's evident that he's been with Ray all summer to events all over. So he's a super kid, and a single parent home. No family members that are outdoorsmen, and he was excited about the outdoors, and we got a hold of him. Changed his life.
Yeah, you bet.
And that's the purpose of Kicking Bear. Now, Kicking Bear, have you ever heard of where that name came from?
No.
Ray hunted a huge grizzly bear in Alaska, in the Yukon, and the Native American guide that was with him, of course, had a big gun, and Ray shoots with bow and arrow only, and he shot this bear, and it dropped, and the guide says, wait, you gotta wait. Ray went up and kicked this bear to see if it was still alive, and it was a huge grizzly bear, or Alaskan brown bear, same thing, and he kicked this bear, so the natives said, you're going to be Kicking Bear, so that's how the name came about. So
that's a great story.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate you, John. I thank you for talking to me and interviewing here on the camera.
Anything we can do to spread the enthusiasm that's gathered here for the outdoor activities. You can see the paintball over there, the BB guns, crossbows, tomahawks, everything, and it works. It works.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.